that we saw some snakes out there. Yeah, I did not like engaging with snakes and all the wild creatures out there. Okay, so today's video has some snakes involved. I will be telling you about my second civil engineering internship, which took place in the consulting side. I will be telling you how much of a 360 it was compared to what I had the summer before with the public agency. If you're new here, I don't just talk about snakes. I am an entry-level civil engineer with about 10 months of working experience, and I'm here to tell you about my civil engineering journey from when I was in school all the way to right now, and hopefully through what I say, someone can pick up something and implement in their lives and hopefully be a better engineer than I am. And so with that, let's get back into the story. My second internship took place in the summer of 2019. During this time, I was transitioning from being a junior in college and going on to my senior year of college. I did not return to the agency that I had interned before. I decided to go into the private sector because I wanted to see what the difference was between working in the public and the private sector. So for my second internship, I went on to intern for a private transportation consulting firm. Like I said, I went on to intern at a private transportation engineering company, which was very small. They had a total of about 8 offices. Just to tell you how small they were, and in the office that I worked, we were only about 3 of us, but there was still a lot of work to be done. How did I get this job in the first place? It was through a professor, and interestingly, I got it in the computer lab. Like a friend and I, we were working on a project, sitting on the computer doing a thing, and then the professor comes to the computer lab and is asking each and everyone like, hey, do you have an internship for the summer? Do you have an internship for the summer? He goes around and students are like, yeah, I have something already. So he goes around until he reaches me and he's like, hey, do you have anything going on? And I'm like, no. And he's like, would you be interested in this opportunity? And I turn to my friend and she looks at me. She's like, yeah, take it. Yeah, that's how I got connected to this company. One interview later, I found myself working for them. Remember when I said I decided to go to a different company, different agency, because I wanted to see the difference between being in the public sector versus the private sector. It did not take me long to figure that out because on day one, I was sent out into the field. Like the second I came in, I was already shipped out to some place 3 hours away to do some field work. Like normally on day one is orientation, you're learning about the company, you're meeting people. It's a very light day typically. But day one, I was in a car driving 3 hours away and staying out for the week. There were a lot of times when we had the opportunities to go out into the field. And the kind of projects that we were involved in were speed studies, documenting the condition of the pavement, and doing asset management. I really enjoyed it because I liked being outside. It was really nice a lot of the times. And each time that we were out there in the field for a couple of days, we were lodged in a hotel and given a meal stipend. And the stipend was for lunch and dinner because the hotel offered breakfast. When it came to our work schedule, when we were out in the field, it was all up to us. As long as we did 40 hours every week, they were fine with it. And so sometimes we do the 8-hour days for 5 days. Some days we do 4 10s, meaning we'll work 10 hours Monday to Thursday. And the most extreme week that I had, we did 12 hours Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and then 4 hours on Thursday because we wanted to come back early. That drained me quite a bit, but that was the most extreme week that I ever had. Once we were done with field work and back in the office for some days, I was working on logging in the data that we had just collected from the field and also doing some drafting work. And so all in all, it was a very engaging experience. I enjoyed it more compared to being in the public sector. And so this is when I decided, like, I think I'm going to stick with the consulting world because there is a lot more going on and I'm much more active and engaged with it. And so with that experience and coupled with the fact that I really enjoyed the transportation engineering courses I was taking, I was like, I think I'm going to continue down this path of being a transportation engineer. I enjoyed my time with this particular private consulting firm that I decided to come back the next summer and keep working with them. But the next summer was 2020, and as we all know, that particular summer was the virus. And because the entire country was shutting down and a lot of layoffs were happening, I was part of the group that got laid off. So on July 1st was my last day at this particular firm. And yeah, that was it. That's how my time with this particular firm ended. Though it was harsh, I think I tried to look at the good side of it and how much I benefited from being with them. It opened my eyes to see that there is much more to traffic and transportation engineering other than roadways and signals. There's so much that goes into that, and there's so many subspecialties that are in it. And so yeah, I just decided to keep going with transportation engineering, even though summer of 2020 was a very hot period. So I enjoyed my experience, but was there anything that I did not like at all? I think what I did not like about it was being out in the field when it's 90 degrees and you're wearing very long jeans and steel-toed boots and you're just going up and down, up and down, up and down. And the sun is right up there and there are no clouds and the sun rays are just beaming at you, and it's just I did not enjoy it at all. I think that was the particular moment that I was like, you know what, I think I'm gonna go back to the office, which is what I did the next summer. So it was that, and also coupled with the fact that we saw some snakes out there. Yeah, I did not like engaging with snakes and all the wild creatures out there. So those were the only thing I disliked: the hot sun and wild creatures. Yeah. So what did I enjoy throughout this experience? As you have heard me say throughout the entire video, I enjoyed working on so many different things at the same time. I was not working on one specific project the entire time. It was multiple at a time. And also traveling. I enjoy traveling and seeing new places and doing different things. So that part of it, of really being active, engaging with different things, was really enjoyable for me. The internship that I had with this particular transportation engineering firm was the last internship that I had while I was an undergraduate student. I did go on to have a couple of internships while I was a graduate student, but I'll talk about that in the graduate series. But what I think will be useful for people to know is, okay, you went ahead and applied for an internship. What should you be doing in the meantime? Should you sit and wait and hope that they call you back, or should you be the one putting your foot forward and trying to call and see what's up with your application? And so in the next video, that's what I'm going to be talking about, what you should be doing in the meantime after you've decided to go ahead and apply for an internship. And so I will see you next time.